background of Israel, as we know that geographically it is located as part of the Middle Eastern country in the Mediterranean Sea. And the population consists of both Christians and Muslims, and it exists even though during the biblical times as part of the Holy Land. The country is very well oriented as a child rearing society that motivates strong family ties and has a universal child benefit with including all children from 3 to 12 years old for free education. Their good maternal care and child health is protected by the National Health Insurance Law and strong community-based primary and preventive care services. The country is more developed in terms of life expectancy, education per capita, and other human development index indicators in health services. For the Israel's MCN status, the socialized medicine is being provided freely for all individual and women who undergo prenatal and antepartum care. So mothers receive an equivalent of $100 to $300 after hospital delivery. And then the infant mortality rate is only 5.5 per 1,000 live births. So uncomplicated births goes 80% are attended by the midwives. Then midwives routinely rupture membranes, attach electronic fetal monitoring, give intravenous fluids, and deliver in lithotomy position. So just 15% of women undergo induction, 20% will have augmentation, and that 40% have experienced epidural with episiotomy 30% and only 17% for the cesarean section. So the system has processes 140,000 births per year with good medical record. There are various sectors of healthcare agencies, but I will only mention this most common in Ministry of Health in Israel. So first is the Tipat Lahav, which is the Family Healthcare Center, and then the Mother, Child, and Adolescent Department, the Community Rehabilitation, and then Nutrition Division, the Tuberculosis and AIDS Department, the Health Education and Promotion, and then the Public Health Nursing.
Okay, so hi, my name is Aliyah Anzarxico-Lantis, and I'm here to present Israel's MCN Vital Statistics. So first, what do you mean by vital statistics? So vital statistics is a quantitative data concerning the population, such as the number of births, marriage, and deaths. Next. So infant mortality rate statistics. So the infant mortality rate is the number of infant deaths for every 1,000 live births. So the current infant mortality rate for Israel, ulit. Ready? So, hi, my name is Aliyah Anzarxico-Lantis, and I'm here to discuss Israel's MCN vital statistics. So, vital statistics. So, hi, my name is Aliyah Anzarxico-Lantis, and I'm here to discuss Israel's MCN vital statistics. So what do you mean by vital statistics? So vital statistics is a quantitative data concerning the population, such as the number of births, marriage, and deaths. So infant mortality rate statistics. So the infant mortality rate is the number of infant deaths for every 1,000 live births. So Israel's infant mortality rate graph. So the current infant mortality rate for Israel in 2021 is 2.461 deaths per 1,000 live births, a 3.53% decline from 2020, and continuous decline ever since the 1960s. As you can see, the continuous decline on the graph. So the next one is maternal mortality rate statistics. So maternal mortality rate ratio is the number of women who die during pregnancy and childbirth per 100,000 live births. So this is in Israel's maternal mortality rate graph. So in 2017, maternal mortality ratio for Israel was 3 deaths per 100,000 live births. Maternal mortality ratio fell gradually from 6 deaths per 100,000 live births in 2003 to 3 deaths per 100,000 live births in 2017. So fertility rate statistics. So the fertility rate at a given age is when the children born alive to women of that age during this year as a proportion of the average annual population of the same age. So in the year 2018, 3.09 births per woman had occurred. So people often mention two factors that encourage Israel's high fertility: the cultural aspect, which is anchored in the historical experience of the Jewish people, and particular policies that make it easier for Israeli women to balance work and family, such as leave for sick children, reduce working hours. So this is the fertility rate in Israel as of so on. And that's all. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Donasil Chua, and now I will be sharing about the maternal and child healthcare laws in Israel. So first, maternal laws for pregnant women in Israel. So working women in Israel to have many rights when it comes to pregnancy and employment. So for the first example, an employee cannot be fired during her pregnancy and up to 60 days following birth. So, for example, if you are a pregnant woman in Israel or if you are a pregnant Israeli, you cannot be fired during your pregnancy or even up to 60 days following birth or 2 months following birth. And next, employment contracts that expire during maternity leave are automatically extended. So in Israel, if a pregnant woman filed for maternity leave and, for example, her employment contract expired during her leave, meaning to say it will be automatically extended. And lastly, in Israel, the salary is paid in full during leave by Social Security during the 15-week paid leave period. So, if a pregnant woman in Israel is on her leave, meaning to say her salary is still being paid in full. And next, maternal and child health care. So, healthcare in Israel is universal, and participation in a medical insurance plan is compulsory. So, all Israeli residents are entitled to basic health care as a fundamental right. So, meaning to say, there are no exemptions. All the residents in Israel are entitled to basic health care as a fundamental right. And lastly, Israelis can increase their medical coverage and improve their options by purchasing private health insurance. So it is their right to increase their medical coverage and improve their options by purchasing private health insurance.
Now, what I will be reporting is the reproductive health issues found in Israel, or the MCN issues that may be found in Israel. Now, to give background to this, now that we know that Israel is somewhat good to a good position of a country, since it has a good healthcare system from the Ministry of Health. It has sectors that can help support the MCN status of the country. At the same time, the vital statistics are actually on a very good position, especially when it comes to mortality rate for mothers and for infants. They're declining yearly, which is a good statistic. And at the same time, the fertility rate is on a constant, as we've seen in the data, which is very good, and that doesn't go too high or doesn't go too low. At the same time, the country provides uh, laws that can help support mothers and infants, and also these laws can help aid mothers and infants as well. So as we see, the country may seem to be at a very good position. The country's at a very good position, but I wouldn't say that it is a perfect country, because upon searching on the possible problems concerning MCN in the country, I have surprisingly saw little to none. So when I searched in deeper, I said, "Oh, the country." When I searched in deeper, the main issues that the country is facing concerning maternal and infants is through the Israel and Palestinian conflict, wherein it's a war going on in Israel, and mothers and children are dying because of this war. And this war is also biblical, but that's a different topic. But at the same time, the Israelite and Palestinian conflict doesn't have connection to the MCN reproduction and statistics, so I'm not gonna fully elaborate this. So in short, Israel does not have much of maternal issues. So what I did is, I thought of possible issues that can be found, because I searched throughout the internet, and Israel seems to have a very good, as I say this again, um, maternal child care status. Though when I searched the internet of possible problems the country may face, I thought of HIV and STDs, since it is inevitable for all countries and all around the world. But surprisingly, upon looking on the data, it states that Israel's HIV rates are lowered compared to other developed countries. The average Israeli HIV infection rate is half the average of Western European rates. That is 4.9 per 100,000 women, compared to the 9.9 per 100,000 women on international waters. And that's actually a very surprising statistic. And upon searching about possible reasons, rates may be lowered compared to other countries due to cultural determinants and religious ideologies. Because these people revolve around the idea of the Old Testament, the Bible, the Jewish, so they don't revolve around coitus or doing immoral acts, because it's also part of their culture. That's what I understand. And from the most HIV and positive women that were diagnosed in Israel, surprisingly, all this majority of these women were immigrants. So, in conclusion of the MCN status in Israel, I would say that their status is in a their MCN status. Israel as a country is in a good position. The MCN status, I wouldn't say is the perfect or the best, but what I can say is the MCN status of Israel is ideal. We're in countries that need help, especially in the development, to develop their MCN status when it comes to helping mothers and infants. They should look at Israel as a possible model in making their country better, especially when it comes to maternal care and child care nursing.